Hello, dear friends. Today there is a lot of news from the front, but the changes on the map of military operations are not as significant as the volume of reports. Let's discuss everything in order. But before we start, I sincerely ask you to subscribe to the channel. Your subscription helps its growth. Thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. Let's begin, as usual, with Zaporozhye. Here, the armed forces of the Russian Federation continue to attack in the direction of the settlement of Orekhovo. Attacks are being carried out on Vremievka, Novodanilovka, and Malaya Tokmachka, with Russian forces achieving some successes. Reports from the field indicate that Russian troops have advanced in the northern part of Rabotino toward Novodanilovka. As of now, the map remains unchanged due to the lack of geospatial materials. However, it can be said that the Russian armed forces might achieve significantly greater successes here, though their attacks are currently less intense as they await developments regarding the settlement of Kurakhovo. Let us move on to the Vremievka direction. In this sector, Russian forces are attacking Novoselka and Makarovka. Gaining control of Novoselka would cut off the supply road to Vremievka, though it can already be considered under fire control. Next, we turn to the settlement of Maximovka, which has generated a lot of news today. Russian forces have reportedly fully cleared the settlement and its surroundings, advancing further toward Razliv and Sukhaya Yali. It is assumed that, after consolidating positions in Yasnaya Polyana and Maximovka, Russian troops have fortified their flanks and begun assault operations on Razliv and Sukhaya Yali. Previously, their attacks were reconnaissance in nature, but now they are full-fledged assault operations. Additionally, Russian forces have expanded their zone of control toward Trudovo and in Trudovo itself. Geospatial materials confirm these changes, with areas marked in a different color now under full control of the Russian army. There is also news from Yelizavetovka, where Russian forces are reported to have fully taken control of the settlement. Further complicating the situation for Ukrainian forces, Russian troops have captured Dalnyr. If the Russian armed forces manage to take Uspanovka, Ukrainian troops will likely find themselves encircled. Yes, I understand that every piece of news seems to mention another encirclement, though actual encirclements have not materialized. However, it's essential to understand that hostilities have been ongoing for years, and both sides have gained experience, allowing troops to withdraw before encirclements close. Still, the number of soldiers lost during such withdrawals is seldom discussed. We will continue to monitor the situation in this area and move further along the map. Kurakhovo. In Kurakhovo, there are no changes on the map today. However, reports from various military correspondents indicate that Russian forces are advancing toward the center of the settlement with some success. Meanwhile, changes have been noted on the map in Novaya Elinka and Baresi. Local reports suggest that Russian forces have entered these settlements and secured positions on their outskirts. All changes can be seen on the map. Regarding Voznesenka and Novoselidovka, these settlements are now fully under Russian control. Russian troops are advancing further south along the railway line, previously used by Ukrainian forces for retreats. In the near future, an attack on the settlement of Baresi from the north can be expected. It is highly likely that Russian forces will advance to the bend in this area to cut off supply routes and block the withdrawal of Ukrainian troops from the settlement. However, it is also possible that by the time Russian forces approach from the north, Ukrainian troops will have already withdrawn from the settlement. We will continue monitoring the situation on this front and move on to the Pokrovsk direction. Here, the armed forces of the Russian Federation have taken control of the settlement of Novoalexeyevka and expanded their control westward. There are also reports that Yurievka is now fully under Russian control, and attacks are ongoing on Pushkina and Pustinka. At the same time, there is unconfirmed information that the settlement of Petrovka has come under Russian control. Once geospatial materials are available, the map will be updated. For now, let's proceed to Toretsk. Toretsk. There have been some updates to the map. Previously, this area was under the control of the armed forces of the Russian Federation, with geospatial materials confirming this. However, it is now under Ukrainian control, and the map has been updated accordingly. That said, there are changes in the Zabalka neighborhood, where geospatial materials show the presence of Russian forces. A rollback, as seen in other areas of the front, is possible, Still, reports from the field suggest that Russian forces are beginning to advance in Toretsk with some success. Let's move further along the map to the settlement of Chasov Yar. There have been no recent changes to the map here until yesterday, when geospatial materials from this point were received. They show a small infantry group occupying a position in the basement of a residential building in the western part of the neighborhood, near the city park. This confirms that the area is currently under the control of the Russian armed forces. Additionally, reports indicate that Ukrainian forces managed to counterattack south of Chasov Yar in the Zaporozhye area, pushing back Russian troops. Otherwise, there are no significant changes on the map in this area. Kupiansk direction. News and map updates from Kupyansk continue to come in, with developments unfavorable for Ukrainian forces. As mentioned earlier, Russian troops entered Kupyansk and have now secured their positions there. Initially, Ukrainian forces had a chance to push them out or encircle them, but the situation has become critical. The Russian armed forces have not only fortified their positions, but also brought in reinforcements to hold the area and expand their control. If they succeed in widening their control, cutting supply lines, and deploying more reserves, all Ukrainian troops in this sector will be trapped. They will have to cross the river to leave their positions and retreat to more advantageous lines. Currently, fighting is ongoing in Kurakhovo and Petropavlovka. In addition, Russian aviation is actively operating in this area. As further changes occur, they will be updated on the map, and we will review them together. Kursk direction. On the Kursk direction, there are no significant map changes today, but some updates from the battlefield have been reported. Starting with the southern part of the front, the armed forces of the Russian Federation are attacking Ukrainian positions in the settlement of Makhnovka. Reports have come from this point. Next is the settlement of Daryino. Surprisingly, Daryino is currently under the control of Ukrainian forces. This settlement has changed hands multiple times. Additionally, Russian forces control part of Novoivanovka, with ongoing battles over it. Attacks on Leonidovo have been attempted but unsuccessful. Olgovsky Forest. In the Olgovsky Forest, Russian forces have inflicted heavy losses on Ukrainian troops and taken many prisoners. The area is still being cleared, and once it is fully under Russian control, they plan to advance on Leonidovo and Malaya Lokhnya. Otherwise, there are no critical changes in this area. Thank you all for watching. See you next time.